Hello, everyone, and welcome to our discussion today titled UISP Fiber and Wave, Today's Connectivity, Tomorrow's World. Today, we're going to discuss the UISP Fiber and Wave product lines. Both of these solutions from Ubiquiti have been custom tailored to not only deliver gigabit connectivity to clients everywhere, but also enhance your network's ability to provide the bandwidth and the low latency that customers need nowadays to stream, online game, work from home, or even run entire businesses. Today, we're joined by Jordan Goff with Ubiquiti. I'm sure many of you have met him at various trade shows and events. Jordan has been with Ubiquiti since back in the day and now plays a key role in bringing us their latest and some of their greatest solutions, such as the UISP Fiber product line and their wireless Wave products as well. Both product lines enable for plug-and-play client solutions, fiber fast gigabit speeds, incredible UISP management, ease of setup, and a full suite of free of charge UISP tools crafted for ISPs, such as Link Simulator, Profitability Calculator to calculate your ROI, and many more features built to help your business succeed. And we're very looking forward to hearing all about it. Please submit all of your questions in the chat window, and we will cover as many as we can after the presentation. We will also be recording this webinar and posting it on our social media as well as on our YouTube channel. So let's get started. Without further delay, I would like to hand it over to Jordan. Jordan, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Thanks for you and ISP Supplies having me today. I'm excited to share our fiber solutions with you and show you how they can fit in your deployments in multiple different scenarios, as well as our Wave products. For those of you already using our GPON products, I'll show you some of our latest updates, both software and hardware, that will help continue to make your networks perform and expand as you need to. So a short intro about myself. I'm Jordan with Ubiquiti, leading the UISP fiber line mainly and involved in some other divisions of Ubiquiti as well. Really focused on making sure that you have the right tools, the right hardware, the right software features to make this a viable solution to deploy fiber, not just in the US, but also globally. So let's dig in. I'll show you a few topics that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about an intro and history, quick history of our fiber products, an overview of deployments, our software, both local UI and UISP application. I'll take you through our fiber hardware, line up all of our hardware models in the fiber side, talk about some success stories of how operators have used this past 7 years or so to grow their networks, and talk about the future of fiber at Ubiquiti. And then I'll also talk about our Wave products and other UISP solutions. And then we'll save some time at the end for questions and answers. So over 7 years ago, we launched our UF OLT and our UF Loco and UF Nano G. These have proven to be reliable, very simple to deploy, and price disruptive like all Ubiquiti gear. And at a global level, we have operators running tens of thousands of subscribers for operator networks, and then anything down to an RV park size deployment where MSPs and other type of providers are using our GPON products to deliver data to endpoints, regardless of if it's a end user ISP subscriber or getting data to security cameras to different end user devices. So this full line of products also includes our XGS series for 10 gig symmetrical speeds, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. I am a visual learner, so I want to spend a few minutes on this slide. I know everyone learns a little bit different, but I think this slide does a good job of taking you end to end to show how Ubiquiti products on the UISP side, as well as our software, can help you create an operator network from scratch or continue to have tools in your tool belt to expand your network. So let's start here. We have our free UISP application software and our design tools to help you design, monitor, and manage devices. Get into that in detail in a minute. But here you might have a data center with multiple DIA circuits with BGP peering, whether you lease or own public IPs and distributing those throughout your network to your subscribers. Here you can have an Edge Router Infinity or a UISP Router Pro at the core running BGP. Then you have, of course, your middle mile fiber, and then you get into the last mile deployments. Here, if you have, let's say, a 10-story building, you could put an OLT in that building and then put passive splitters on every other floor. So then if someone signs up on a floor, you can run fiber from either a residential suite or a business suite to the closest splitter throughout the building. This allows for a really easy deployment. And then we'll talk about the ONUs that you can put inside each customer suite. And we have a full lineup of those based on the customer's needs. Once you get in this building, whether it's a tower or a building, you can use our UISP switching products to connect our Wave products. These Wave products can be used in both point to multi-point mode to distribute last mile, high speed, low latency data to your subscribers. And then once you get into the residential side or the business side, you could use something like our new Unify Express to as the subscriber router to give the subscriber experience that modern subscribers are looking for, with full control and accessibility to expand that to something like our Dream Wall that includes a built-in PoE switch, adding multiple access points, extenders, and cameras on the business side, access control, and digital signage, all from our Unify ecosystem. Another method is using something like our new Wave Pro for point-to-point links. And this allows you to expand to different areas very quickly. So let's say you have a subdivision that has 30 to 60 homes, and maybe you have to cross train tracks to get there, and the permitting for that is taking months and months. If you have the last mile fiber distributed, you can create a quick point-to-point link with really high throughput, really low latency to expand your network. That allows you time to get permitting, to get the fiber where you need it, and it allows you to quickly expand your network and stay ahead of your competitors. So at a basic level, GPON, our tools allow you to keep things simple and pass traffic from one point to another. A few other examples of using this, I've talked to customers who have large farms, maybe a 100-acre farm, and they have remote buildings around that they need security cameras, access points, internet coverage, and they've used GPON in that scenario to distribute that data throughout their farm. It's really nice because you can put the passive splitters on a fence post with no power required and expand as needed from there. And then there's also fiber to the X, whether it's the home, the curb, the business, the device, and a stadium to deploy data. And I've seen cubicle farms or large offices with many cubicles use our GPON products. So they will go to maybe a set of 4 cubicles and use a GPON endpoint, one of our ONUs, to distribute devices for an office setting. So more than just an operator network, there's a lot of ways that you can use these tools to have a price competitive way to distribute data. Going to talk about our tools for a minute, our software tools, both planning, monitoring and management, and operations. We recently added fiber design to our ispdesign.ui.com tool. And I'm confident if you spend maybe an hour on this, 30 minutes to an hour, playing with this tool, getting started. If you've never deployed fiber before, it's a very simple tool that allows you to build the confidence and the plan of how you're going to distribute your network, anywhere from placing a cabinet with an OLT, assigning different PON ports, and how they distribute out to splitters. And these splitters can be adjusted manually. You can put where they are. And there's also automatic mapping that follows street paths to deploy your network around a new neighborhood. Once that's built, you can see your topology laid out, see how many OLTs you have, what size splitters are going where, how many ONUs are connected to each splitter. And then it also builds a bill of materials. So once you build out, you can see the cost of the hardware with MSRP and a good list of quantities and items that you can send to ISP Supplies for an order as you plan your project. Just like we have for our ISP design on the wireless side, we have a profitability calculator where you can plan different speeds, estimate how many subscribers, price per month. Of course, if you're planning your business around this one tool, it might not be the best idea, but you can use this as a good starting point to look at a budget, see the opportunity, and see how the ROI of our equipment makes sense to expand into new areas. I also want to talk about our UISP application and our CRM tool. We have cloud hosted or standalone options where you can self-host this. We have the device manager. You can log into our fiber devices, our switching devices, and manage your network. Change VLAN settings, change port settings, adjust subscriber capacity or throughput that you're allowing the customer to subscribe to. We have a firmware manager for scheduled maintenance window, firmware upgrades. Well, one of my favorites is simple, but it's automatic backups. I've had devices in the field fail, and since everything's automatically backed up in UISP, I could download the backup configuration, upload it to a new device, go swap that device out, and get things back up and running quickly, whether that's a core device, core switch device, core router device, or an end user device. There are historical statistics, which helps with troubleshooting. You can see if a certain network segment dropped signal level on either fiber or wireless, and that allows you to help troubleshoot and also handle support requests as they come in. Our installer apps for iOS and Android are really useful for your team who is out in the field, aligning radios, installing fiber devices. They can log in with their app and check the signal level. They can provision devices through this app, and makes it seamless and quick installs to keep your techs in the field happy and efficient in getting devices installed. So we also offer a full-featured CRM with automatic billing. I'm not aware of any other vendor that has done something like this in the industry, where they've provided a free tool to operators so you can focus on getting fiber in the ground, getting new towers built, getting the infrastructure set, and then we give you the tools that you need to run your business, invoicing, client portal, automatic suspension, all right from this tool. And again, it's all license free. So this is something that we give you, both cloud hosted and standalone or self-hosted options. We also provide an API for this tool, so it makes it very customizable. You can use it in a lot of different ways. And I have some success stories of how our customers are using that. Again, I'm kind of a visual learner, so I wanted to show you a few screenshots of UISP and how you can manage all of your fiber devices. This shows active monitoring, outage alert notifications. You can see signal levels as well as dying gas power outages like we have here. This Nano G has gone offline due to power. So for the devices that support dying gas, you can see those analytics to know if there's a power failure or some other type of fiber issue in your network that you need to address. This shows the management side of ONUs. Our goal is to keep this very simple and easy to use. You can set the ONU in bridge mode or router mode. Speed limits, this can be set via the subscriber service that the subscriber is assigned to in the CRM tool, or you can manually choose the upload and download limit on each ONU. LAN network will be for the router mode, and here you have VLAN settings. You can pick and choose the native VLAN and tagged VLANs for other services that you might be providing. The local user interface of the OLT itself looks like this. Again, very simple. You see the stats that you need right away. You can see signal levels spread across your OLT, different PON ports, and all the analytics. You can adjust lag port setup, system preferences, monitoring, and you can retrieve support files from this user interface. High percentage of our customers use UISP for management, but there's always times that you want to log in directly to the OLT, so we keep that clean and simple to do. This is a view that looks very similar to UISP, however, it's directly in the OLT. You can see all the connected ONUs to the OLT based on PON port, download and upload, current throughput, signal level, experience, uptime, all the statistics that you need to run your network and troubleshoot. I also want to talk about our next fiber software release. We have version 4.8.0 that should be released in the next few days. One big feature that we've added is our MAC address limiting. It's been a long requested feature that we were able to deliver. And this allows for two different things. One, you can do dynamic MAC addresses, but have a limit count. So that way, if an ONU is set up in bridge mode and so an end user plugs in a switch, they don't consume all of your DHCP addresses in that pool, and they're limited to a specific count. And then each time they unplug or replug or reboot the ONU, they will get only one IP address based on the MAC. And then you can also, if you're providing managed routers, you could limit that to a specific MAC address, both allow or deny specific MACs or a list of MACs. We're really focused on continuous improvements and stability with our software, and continuing to keep simplicity, add features, but make it very robust to deploy. So I want to show you a few hardware models. This is our XGS lineup, which has been out for about 10 months now. I have our $4,000 XGS OLT with 8 ports and 4 25 gig uplink ports, our XGS PON module, our coexistence filter. I have a few slides coming up that will show this coexistence filter and the best way to deploy that. We have our XGS ONU offering the 10 gig symmetrical speeds, and our XG ONU, which has 10 gig down and 2.5 gig up speeds. The XG does support PoE, where the XGS ONU has a USB-C power option. This is our product lineup for our GPON. These products have been out for 7+ years now. We have our 8-port OLT priced at $17.99, 4-port at $11.89, and a full lineup of ONUs. So we find that in general, operators want a long-term investment on their ONUs so that those are deployed for 10+ years. And most operators understand that the gateway or the Wi-Fi has a faster refresh rate of maybe 3 or 4 years. So we see that a lot of customers go with the UF Loco. They can plug in any router or Unify router, third-party router here, and give that to the customer, and they can leave the UF Loco mounted outside for 10 years, and then the customer can change their Wi-Fi gateway as needed at a higher refresh rate. We do have our UF Wi-Fi 6. This has proven to be very common in the industry too, where maybe 80% of customers, you can put this in as a starting point. You can always switch this to bridge mode if they decide to use their third-party router of choice. But this meets the needs with port forwarding, built-in Wi-Fi 6 at a very competitive $99 price point. The UF Nano is another great tool. Some installers use this just to check the signal level quickly and then install UF Loco after the fact. But this gives a nice screen where you can see the current throughput, signal level, and deploy those for your customers for a little more upgrade as far as style and look and feel that they have if it's mounted inside. Our UF Wi-Fi is very competitively priced 2.4 gigahertz only Wi-Fi ONU. In the US, 2.4 gigahertz isn't near as common as our global market. However, you could use this as a 4-port ONU in router mode and switch off the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi and have separate meshed Wi-Fi access points spread across a facility. And our UF Instant, this pairs well with something like a Unified Dream Machine Pro that has the SFP port. This is an ONU on a stick. You can simply plug the fiber straight in, plug this into the Dream Machine Pro SFP port, and have an ONU in that style as well. I want to show you 3 different methods of deploying our XGS products with our GPON products. Our XGS OLT currently does not include combo PON. That's a common question. And we've decided that for this specific model, we can get a lower cost option, higher output power, and still allow you to mix 8 ports of GPON, 8 ports of XGS to get 16 ports for a fraction of the cost of our competitors. So it's a really easy upgrade path. One of the trade-offs is it does require more rack space and power, but for the fraction of the cost, you can plug up a GPON receiver into the WDM filter and a 10 gig XGS module into the XGS ports of the WDM filter. And then downstream, you have a splitter that can connect both XGS ONUs and GPON ONUs. So I think this will make more sense in a second when I show you the other 2 options. This option shows where you have stacked an 8-port XGS OLT, 8-port GPON OLT. Then you can fully populate each port and still have downstream to a single splitter and provide both GPON ONUs and XGS ONUs. Lastly, this is not near as common, but you can have separate splitters with a GPON splitter, GPON ONU module, GPON OM module to go to a splitter with GPON ONUs and a second port with XGS module going to a separate set. I'm going to keep going here. In the market, I see a lot of maybe a 50-50 split of ONUs that are deployed inside the house versus outside the house. There are definitely trade-offs each way, so I wanted to address this if you're doing a greenfield install and trying to decide the best method to deploy these. So first, if the ONU is mounted inside, see a lot of providers, they run fiber throughout the neighborhood, they trench it to the house, they go up to a NID box that has just a simple little coupler. So this allows them to maintain this outside the house if needed. And then they run a smaller jumper from the NID box fiber jumper inside the house and have a wall plate with another coupler. Then they have a simple jumper going from this wall plate with a protected fiber to the ONU. Then they can power the ONU with USB power or a PoE injector. And then the LAN port of the injector or the LAN port of the ONU can go straight to one of our unified devices as the subscriber router. Second is mounting the ONU outside the home with something like our UF terminal box. In this case, you run fiber up and then you run Ethernet inside the house and have a PoE injector going out to power the ONU. Then you have the LAN port going to the subscriber router in this way. So the big difference here is mounting the ONU outside and running Ethernet in, or having a NID box outside, mounting the ONU inside and providing service that way. I want to talk about our support. So for UISP Fiber and our USP devices, we have the design assistance from our tools, ISP design tool, our community, our distributors like ISP Supplies, with the design assistance, engineering assistance, and a full lineup of tools and infrastructure, everything from splicers to infrastructure assets to get the fiber in the ground. And they can assist you with that. We have community involvement from our internal teams and more, and a long-term support plan. So including development resources, stocking availability, feature additions, and next generation hardware. So we're committed to making sure that you have the tools, the supply chain that you need to use our fiber products for your deployments. A few success stories that I want to share with you. One is Planet Networks in New Jersey. Robert Boyle is their CEO, and they have grown to 10,000 plus subscribers, 50,000 passings, 175 plus employees, 1,000 fiber miles. and they were able to find the ROI that worked for them, found a really simple, scalable solution, and they're using 100% Ubiquiti fiber in their network. Another success story on the XGS side, after our release 10 months ago, this customer, Frog, Michael Vole, he has hundreds of our XGS subscribers deployed, and he has moved his existing customers from 2 other vendors to our solution for stability and simplicity. So not only did he change his greenfield to our product, but he also forklifted the other vendors' XGS products for ours due to just having a nice, seamless tool, seamless deployment with using us as the same vendor throughout his network. One more success story here is Jim Bose. He has thousands of subscribers using all of our fiber equipment, and he's a heavy user of our UISP CRM tool. And I see a lot of this with many operators out there where they use our CRM tool to deploy their network, monitor it, management, and use the CRM side for invoicing and automatic payments and automatic suspension. Quick recap here with fiber. It's scalable, it's cost sensitive, and it's simple. So this gives our operators the long-term hardware reliability and that 10-year investment that we talked about, quick ROI. We give the design tools, and we keep the software simple, full-featured, and license-free. That wraps up our fiber side of things. I'll talk about Wave for a few minutes, and then we'll catch some questions at the end. So you can submit those to Jonathan and any fiber questions or Wave questions, and we'll get to those in a minute. With Wave, we have our next level price for performance. It's extremely low interference, and we have active internal development going on with enhancements, and I'll talk about those in a second. We have the design tools along with our fiber. We have 60 gigahertz in our ISP design tool that helps you calculate rain fade. And this is a great product for short to mid range with really high throughput and really low latency. Our 2 access points, I think both of these are very effective in different scenarios, so it's important to talk about both of them. The Wave AP has a 30-degree integrated antenna with a 2.5 gig PoE port and a 10 gig SFP plus port. The Wave Micro is 90 degrees with the integrated antenna and a 2.5 gig PoE port. So one really important thing as you're selecting an access point is the vertical beam width as long as the horizontal coverage. The Wave AP Micro, the angle on this can go maybe 2 to 3 miles out, and you have a wide coverage area, both horizontal and vertical. The built-in 802.11ax 5 gigahertz backup radio gives great performance in the event where rain takes out the radio. I've seen a lot of customers deployed on these, business customers, where if 60 gigahertz goes out, ultimately they never know that the signal has dropped because it's just a seamless failover to the backup 5 gigahertz radio. We also recently increased the client count from 224 from a max of 15. And this can also be fed from our UISP Switch Plus, one of our newest UISP switches that has 4 2.5 gig PoE ports and 4 10 gig SFP ports. This is our lineup of our CPEs, and these can also be set up in point-to-point mode with the latest firmware. And I see these replacing some AirFiber 11 links or 24 gigahertz links because they're extremely low interference and really high throughput. So and this of course can work as CPEs at varying ranges when paired with one of the Wave APs. We released our Wave firmware 3.3.1 yesterday. This has stability improvements for client count, backup frequency, and distance. So you'll see some resiliency improvements, and we're hard at work on making this the best product that we can. We also added configurable failover threshold, so you can choose when the threshold cuts over to 5 gigahertz from 60 gigahertz. And some previous firmware, we also made improvements for quarter size channels. And our Wave AI tool dynamically changes the frequency selection and the channel width to give the best performance during rain fade or at different distances. We have mobile UI improvements as techs are in the field configuring these, and many other improvements and fixes in this firmware to keep improving this product. We're going to talk about a few things that's new at Ubiquiti. We've had some exciting additions to the UISP Fiber line, both in software and some upcoming hardware that I'll show you in a second. Fixed wireless. I know a common question might be our new AirFiber MLO product. In short, I can say that things appear to be on track, and that team is working very hard on that project. And routing and switching hardware, software, we're working hard on Wave hardware and software features like I showed. And we've also worked hard on our unified products with an operator focus, with some big improvements to global admin features in Site Manager for Unify that makes this a lot easier for operators to deploy these as managed routers for their customers. With the Unify Express and the Unify Cloud Gateway Ultra, these can be deployed and is a good fit for a modern AirCube type replacement where the end user gets a great subscriber experience and modern core functionality and routing throughput. I want to show you our latest fiber product that will ship by the end of the year. This is another next level price performance setup where you can have an extremely low cost combo PON OLT. It has a single port combo PON and a single port SFP uplink with a management and console port. This will have a 24 volt DC power input with a terminal block in the back. And it's great for distributed deployments, whether you're going into an MDU with 30 units, a small neighborhood with 30 to 60 units. This allows you to expand your fiber network using either a Wave or current fiber middle mile deployments. And this could be used in the scenario I gave earlier too, with an office complex and distributing data to different cubicles. So this tool, I think, will be very effective in not only in the US, but in the global market as a great way to expand your networks and give you all the tools that you need. So thank you for letting me talk here. I hope that the information was helpful. That's the last slide that I have, but I want to open it up to try to answer some questions that you guys might have.
Awesome. Thank you. Excellent presentation. Thank you, Jordan. And
Thank you.
We're also very looking forward to seeing this new combo PON unit out in the field. So that's exciting stuff. We did have a good amount of questions roll in, so we still have some time to answer some. So let's just jump right in. The first question is about the fiber products. Are Ubiquiti fiber products cross-compatible with other vendors? I would like to incorporate it into my current fiber setup.
Great question. Our ONUs do have some third-party support for different OLTs. However, our OLTs only work with our ONUs.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's see here. Another question that came in. Stocking issues have always been an issue with new Ubiquiti products, and now we're seeing this with Wave products, both in the UI store and with distributors. When will it level out?
Great question. We're working very hard on our supply chain, as always. It's a good problem for us to have, and we want to be able to support you on that. So behind the scenes, we're working hard on some solutions to get you the products you need when you need them, working with the ISP supplies and our other distributors to get stock when you need it. For the Wave products, I understand, and we're fully aware of that and working on the solution for you.
Great, thank you. Here's a fiber product question. How many customers maximum is recommended for GPON and for XGS-PON?
Excellent question. Of course, we have our marketing numbers, which our marketing numbers, I'm more on the technical side. So now I understand the real world deployments. And in a real world deployment, I see maybe 60 or so ONUs connected per PON port. And there's some reasons for that. It allows for future growth, future bandwidth requirements for decades and decades. As you build your fiber out, you're prepared for the long-term growth and bandwidth increases.
Good info. Thank you. Let's see here. Another one. Is there a Wi-Fi 6 option for UISP fiber CPE?
Yes, we have our UF Wi-Fi 6 ONU with the built-in Wi-Fi 6. To be completely transparent, that's a great solution for many deployments. And we could add a lot of core features to that, like multiple Wi-Fi networks, SSIDs, guest network. But I feel like the long-term solution for that, if you're looking for a feature-rich Wi-Fi 6 solution, is to pair one of our ONUs like the UF Loco or XG or XGS ONUs with a single LAN port and plug in one of our UniFi devices, where you really have a feature-rich subscriber experience with a lot of customization and features.
Perfect. Thank you. A couple Wave product line questions here. Can you reuse channels on the same tower with UISP Wave?
Yes, you certainly can, and I've seen this deployed in quite a few different environments. The previous public firmware release added GPS sync to help with this co-locating multiple Wave devices on the same tower.
Good to know. Thank you. Another question here is the UISP Wave product line susceptible to rain fade? I know you touched on this, but if we can recap it, please.
Sure. It is a 60 gigahertz frequency in general, has an oxygen absorption rate that causes the signal to degrade during rain. And that's why we have our AX chipset failover in that, and the recent firmware that added even more stability improvements to that. In most cases makes that a non-issue. If you have a core point-to-point link with the Wave Pro going 10 miles, that would most likely be a concern. You still have the 5 gigahertz failover, but if that's your primary link, it might not be the best deployment. Now, if you have that at 5 miles or less, it could be a really good fit. So each deployment's different, each distance, each deployment scenario is different. So you do need to consider rain fade, but I think more importantly, you need to understand the tools that we've given you to prevent any type of service interruption in the real world or in the use case, the data going down. For example, if a very, very small percentage of the year the device switches over to 5 gigahertz failover, is it going to be impactful and be able to support the throughput that you need on that link, whether it's point to multi-point or point to point? So the things we've done, again, to recap, the quarter size channels and the Wave AI that dynamically adjust during rain will help the resiliency of the 60 gigahertz link, and the 5 gigahertz failover with the added stability improvements as of yesterday are some great ways to mitigate that.
Excellent. Thank you. One last question is, when will Wave Mesh be in stock at distributors or on the Ubiquiti store?
Good question. I know that there was a picture of that or something posted. I don't have any details on that, unfortunately.
All right, but we're still looking forward to seeing those in the market in the future. So those were great questions from the audience. Thank you everyone who participated, and that's all the time that we have today. Jordan, as always, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and we're looking forward to future UISP product releases. So,
thank you very much for having me.
Yes, sir. We will also be uploading a copy of today's webinar to our YouTube channel and sharing it on social media. So everyone, please make sure to subscribe and follow us. For anyone looking to deploy UISP Fiber or Wave, please reach out to us. You can email us at sales@ispsupplies.com or give us a call at 855-947-7776. That's 855-WISP-PRO. And like Jordan mentioned, we not only can assist with equipment, but also with pre and post-sale support, design assistance, supporting products such as those mid boxes for outdoor ONU deployments that were mentioned, and anything else needed for your wired or wireless network. So let us know how we can help. And this brings us to the end of our webinar today. Thank you to everyone who attended and to everyone listening to the recording online. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Until next time.